hang on a minute. If you were in Los Angeles over this past weekend and you happened to tune in to any of our local news broadcasts on television, you would have noticed that pretty much all of them led with the exact same story, which was the public mourning over our local mountain lion mascot, P22. This was not at all unexpected, but I have to say that this story filled me with a lot more sadness than I anticipated it would. And I think that's because of all the celebrities who make their home here in Los Angeles. P22 was my personal favorite. And that's because he never set out to be a celebrity. Instead, he became one simply by living his own life the best way he knew how. It's not exactly known where that life began, but it's believed that it was in the Santa Monica Mountains in the westernmost portion of Los Angeles County. And from there, when he was still rather young, he migrated a journey of at least a dozen miles over two different interstate highways, past my home here in Hollywood and east to the area of Griffith Park, where he lived the rest of his days for about a decade. And fortunately for all of us here in Los Angeles, his life coincided with the widespread availability of wireless technology. Wildlife officials fitted him with a radio collar, and they had also already installed a large network of very small digital wireless cameras all throughout the county in various wildlife habitats. Were outfitted with motion sensors. And it was those cameras that made P22 a star. I haven't seen any actual numbers, but I would be pretty sure that no wild animal has ever been the subject of more photographs than P22. And as soon as these pictures started to circulate online, he instantly became beloved of essentially the entire community of Los Angeles. Mountain lions are dangerous, predatory animals. But despite that, essentially everyone here said, yes, we will share our community with one of these wild animals. And so that's the story of how P22 became so beloved, to the point where we have now at least begun to construct a dedicated wildlife crossing over one of the same interstate highways that P22 had to cross without the aid of such contrivances, so that other wild animals may also roam freely throughout our community without having to take the same enormous risks that P22 had to take. And it's in this way that P22 has led a life of much more consequence than he ever intended or even knew about. Towards the end of that life, scientists had begun to notice that he was traveling over a much smaller piece of territory than they had ever seen him do before. And so they began to believe and alert the public that they thought he might be sick and or injured. And in any case, he was already nearing the end of what would be considered the natural lifespan of a mountain lion. They located him, they tranquilized him, and brought him in for medical examination, which revealed that, in fact, he was suffering from a rather acute kidney ailment along with other medical conditions, and was, in fact, rather seriously injured. They believed that he had been struck by a vehicle. And they decided that humane euthanasia was the best course available to them rather than allowing P22 to live out his final days in really just horrible pain. And a memorial service was held for him at Griffith Park yesterday, where he made his home. But the good news is that over the summer, a litter of 4 mountain lion kittens was born in the Santa Monica Mountains, where P22 was also thought to have been born. They've been tagged. They've all been given their own P names. And so we might hope to get to see them live out their own wild lives in coming years. I don't think that any of those lives will end up being quite so consequential as the life of P22, but I'd love to be proven wrong about that. So as you're making your holiday toasts this year, I hope you'll join me in raising your glass to the late, great P22, who made Los Angeles a better place. And thank you once again for your kind attention.